want to tell them where we are right now?
Toes.
We're in Columbus.
Jesus. 10 toes behind Jesus. 10 toes behind Jesus. I started 10 toes. You know how it go. Used to have waves. Now I wear a big nappy fro. Then I fell down. Couldn't believe it until I stood up. 10 toes behind Jesus.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode on 10 Toes Behind Jesus podcast. We on the road again. We in a familiar city.
Where we at?
The city of Baltimore.
There you go.
And we have a special guest, a man of many hats. His name is Tariq Coley. I feel like a TV person. His name is Tariq Coley, and he's the founder of Saving Such podcast.
There you go.
So we're just gonna chop it up today. We've been supposed to do this podcast it seemed like a year ago, but we hadn't even known each other for a year. But go ahead, introduce yourself. Tell 10 Toes what you do. How's life been? And we'll get into some more questions.
Gotcha. I appreciate it. That was a lovely introduction, by the way. I appreciate that. But like she said, Tariq Coley, Baltimore area guy, Aberdeen, Maryland. The president of the Saving Such podcast.
President, CEO.
Which we had her on. A beautiful, beautiful episode. I can't remember how we met or when we met. You just kind of popped up, and we've been friends ever since.
Literally, every time I come up here, we try to find some way to connect.
Link up, do something right. Currently a school teacher, as well as a high school football coach. So I'm just big on just the youth. Giving back and spending time with the kids, you know what I mean? That's what I'm big on. That's, I believe, my purpose, and that's where I find my joy and things like that in it.
Yeah. So, both of us having our own podcast, I'll kind of explain, my journey, how things got started, and, transition. But from your perspective, and if you guys haven't watched Saving Such podcast, go finish this video first.
Yeah.
Then go check them out. God has really blessed them, and they have, how many co-hosts do you have?
3 other co-hosts with me.
3 other co-hosts. I've met
Murray.
I know Murray and
Rashawn.
Is he a co-host?
He's a producer.
He's a producer. Okay.
He don't like to be seen on camera. I don't know why. I be trying to throw him on.
So I've met a few of them. Super cool. I love the podcast. But yeah, tell them getting started and just the journey, and sometimes when you have an idea or God has told you something and it's nothing yet, it's pretty hard, it's pretty difficult because it's nothing you can see or, So yeah, just go ahead and tell.
Oh, well, the podcast is deep, but I'll try to sum it up. Basically, in COVID, I just felt like God was just pulling on me, tugging on me to just grow deeper within him. And he was telling me to get up at 3 o'clock in the morning and just pray. That was on my spirit, that exact time. Just get up and pray. Just get up and pray. So that was new for me because that was something I wasn't doing anything like that. So after, like we said, in COVID and just getting up constantly and praying, he put on my spirit to start a podcast. You know what I'm saying? And me personally, I don't know how to start a podcast. I don't know the technicals, the mics, the things like that. So in the prayer room, he gave me the people to reach out to and who to call and kind of just a vision. And the thing about what you said, how you can't see it. You can't see it. So the thing was, when he showed me the podcast, he showed me lights, he showed me a stage, he showed me a platform. You know what I mean? Through the visions and things that he gave me. And it's crazy to see how you begin to see things come to pass.
The growth.
You just begin to see things oh my God, this is what he was showing me. Yeah. And that's the things that you hold on to. You know what I mean? Just the things that God has showed you, shared with you. Jeremiah 33:3 says, "Call unto me, and I will show great and mighty things which thou knowest not." So just spending time with God, he'll reveal to you things about your past, your present, and as well as your future. You know what I'm saying? So that's just something that's big with me, man. It's just in that ample time with God, just the things that he reveals to you.
In that time. And the biggest thing is, you said in prayer. I feel in prayer is when I can hear God the clearest. And so I remember people was like, prayer works, prayer this. And I'm like,
Right.
I don't really, like, nothing really be happening when I be praying.
Right.
But, like, as my journeys come along, it's in prayer when a lot of things start to change, shift, revelations come. So that's cool. So you said 2020. I don't think you said this, but y'all started like January.
Oh yeah, New Year's Day is when the first episode dropped in 2020.
2020.
So we started planning like I would say like October of 2019. That's when we first had our first couple meetings, and we took a couple months to like prepare and do things like that.
That's so good.
Yeah. So it's been a process, definitely been a journey.
And that's why I say like a man of many hats, because doing stuff like this, you kind of have to learn and figure out everything almost. So it's like, this isn't my strong suit, but like I've done a little bit of this, a little bit of that. You probably know how to like run a camera, computer, like all this stuff. So 2020 and now, what has God done through Saved and Such podcast?
Oh man, it's incredible. Just I will first say just the growth that the people are part of it have been into. Because like when we first started, like we were so surface level. Like I can honestly say, well, I'm not going to speak for anybody else, but I'm going to speak for me. I was so surface level and very lukewarm as well. Very lukewarm, very surface level. So just in my journey with God, he's, like I said, he's taking me through the process of just growing in him, and really walking with him has shown me like what it means to be a Christian. You know what I mean? That scripture, deny yourself and pick up the cross daily. I've literally learned that, what that looks like every single day. Denying your flesh, consecrating, fasting, praying. Like things that I wasn't doing when I first started is like an everyday thing now. You know what I'm saying? So it's just been beautiful. And then just the connections, you know what I mean? The people that I've met.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The people that we've got a chance to work with. You know, we've worked with a lot of people.
A lot of athletes, I feel like.
Yeah. I'd say the Such is definitely called to like that realm of having like athletes and things. That's something that like I can honestly say is beautiful, because a lot of us were former athletes that started the podcast. We were all former athletes, so like having that space to be creative, and that God's allowing us to be creative
and relate to.
It's beautiful, man. And there's so many people that want to tell their stories, that want to learn more about God, and like it feels like he's given us that opportunity to create that moments and stuff for people.
You know, like kind of do you saying like where you started and where you are now spiritually, like so much growth has happened. I just think about those people who are feeling like they want to go deeper, or they want to, you know, start something or do something, but their lifestyle isn't like reflecting other people, or isn't reflecting like their calling. And like I would just say go into it, because like that didn't stop you, that didn't stop me. I was the same way, but God gave us everything we needed like as we went. And it's to where now we look back like, I never thought it would be like this, or I never thought I'd be like this, but God knew. He was just waiting for us to go ahead and take that step. So never let that stop you, because I know that was a big thing for me too. I'm like, man, like I don't even read the Bible every day. Like I don't pray every day.
It's no way this is me.
Yeah.
It's no way this is you chose me for this. Because, you know what I'm saying? It's just outrageous, and it's something that's on my spirit. I wanted to share with everybody watching. So it's crazy when you said. It's crazy when you asked, when you were telling me about what we're gonna be talking about during this podcast. And currently at church, we're learning about spiritual gifts. Okay. Shout out to my pastor, Pastor Daquan Stewart. And we're learning about spiritual gifts. And one of the gifts that we talked about was the apostleship gift. Okay. And the definition of that is to be sent forth to new frontiers with the gospel, providing leadership over church bodies and maintaining authority over spiritual matters pertaining to the church. Now, this doesn't always have to be a church, but pertaining to the church. You know what I mean? Me and you are part of the church. So a lot of people don't realize that they have that apostleship spiritual gift, where they have where God has given them the gift to start new ministries. You know what I mean? And that's all that these are. 10 Toes, Saved and Such. These are ministries. People are learning. People are growing. You know what I mean? With God, watching these every single week. You know what I'm saying? Going back and watching videos. People, I know for us, like people have sent me notes of them taking notes.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? Things like that. So like, you gotta. I just want to share that with you as well because you have that spirit, that gift as well of that apostleship where you start a new ministry. Like, has anybody in your family ever started a podcast or anything like that as far as a platform?
I would say, well, my oldest brother, maybe he was the first. He had like a merch, or he was selling merch. Mm-hmm. And then Marlon, he's had a few podcasts. His was definitely first. Which one did he? Oh, he had one with like one of his teammates. Okay, I was trying to think. That was like first. But as far as like ministry, my dad has done a lot of ministry of like speaking engagement. But as far as like starting something, I think 10 Toes is the first.
Yeah, the first one, right? Mm-hmm. So yeah, that's in you. You know what I'm saying? That's why it's important, like I said, to spend time with God and go to Bible study. I know you be at the church all day.
Yeah.
I know they got she at that church. Every time I call you, every time I talk, where you at? I'm at the church.
Yeah, it's actually so funny. I feel like the majority of people call me on Wednesday. So like they'll call me in the morning and I'll be like in Bible study. And then they're like, all right, I'll be like, call me later. Then they'll call me like later and I'll be like, hey, I'm at Bible study. They're like, what in the world?
Always at church. Every time I'm at church, I be like, Lord, you at the church way more than I am.
That is so funny. But yeah, I know you relate to it a lot too, but it's a different type of like walk, like especially than what we're used to. And yeah, it's just good to feel used by God. Right. And like my friend said the other day, it doesn't always feel good, but according to the scripture, it's good for us. And I'm like, man, he's always dropping like so many dimes, but that one I'm like, that's really gonna stick with me like for life.
And it's crazy because that's how you feel a good percentage of the time. You don't feel like you're worthy. I know for me, I was feeling like I was unworthy at times. I was feeling like, man, I can't even hear God right now. I was feeling like, man, ain't no way he's even in the midst of this. You know what I'm saying? But like, he always shows up on time, you know what I mean, with something to confirm, like you're right where you need to be.
Yes.
A lot of times we be thinking like we're lost, like we don't know what's going on, like we're confused, but like he really has you in a place where like he needs you to sit down to just hear his voice. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So just knowing like the different seasons that you're in as well is very, very important because a lot of people be thinking it's time for me to go, it's time for me to get out, but it's really the time where you're in process. You know what I'm saying? I know like Jesus, right? He didn't start his ministry until he was 30. And his ministry lasted 3 years. So he was in 30 years of preparation. Literally. You know what I'm saying? So like you're not going to get everything within a month, 6 months. You know what I mean? A couple days. And that's what a lot of people expect. But God, he moves fast. He can do anything at any given time. But he wants you to learn something in your process.
Yeah. And when you think about it, you don't even want it to go that fast for you because you want to be able to be good stewards of the blessing God gives you in the future. You don't want to receive something and then lose it almost as soon as you receive it just because you wasn't ready, you wasn't trained, you wasn't equipped, you wasn't sure.
Absolutely. And then on top of that, you just you don't want to miss anything in your process. Like if you what you need. So like if you're somebody who, let's say, has a lust problem, right? Lust problem. But God wants to bless you and give you a platform. You know what I'm saying? If you don't kill that flesh now, that can kill you later. When he gives it to you, when he gives you the thousands of followers and things like that, you'll mess up looking crazy where a whole bunch of people can see it because you didn't take the time to spend time with God. You know what I mean? When you was on level 5 to when he takes you to level 10. So don't rush the process. Yeah,
one of the deacons at my church, we had this training for service class, and he was talking about how, I believe it was around when like the tabernacle and it's so deep, so I don't even want to say anything to mess it up. But the priest would like go up the stairs, and they were clothed. And so he was like, why do you think they were clothed and like nobody else was? And I don't think any of us said the right answer, like what he was getting at. But he was saying the higher you go, the more exposed you are. So that everyone else, it was no need for them to be clothed because like they weren't exposed. But the ones that was walking up the steps where everyone could see them, they were exposed to everyone. So they're the ones clothed. So yeah, the higher you go, the more exposed you are. So that's another thing that will probably always stay with me.
Wow, that was deep. I like that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna use that. Wow, that blessed me.
Yeah.
Dang.
But all right, anything you want to say to the people? 10 Toes Behind Jesus podcast. We got Tariq on here.
Yeah.
On the ones and twos.
I think I would definitely say, you know what I mean, just in everything be faithful to God because He's faithful to you. Don't ever feel like you've done something that you can't run back to Him. Don't ever feel like you are just so out, so far in sin that like you won't be accepted by Him. That's not the case at all. He wants you to talk to Him, be vulnerable with Him. That's the thing that I've learned is be vulnerable with God in the midst of everything. You know what I mean? So just spending time with Him is very key, very important, man, and you'll learn artists through the process.
So you said be faithful to God because He's faithful to you. So I always close out, don't forget to stay 10 toes behind Jesus because He's 10 toes behind you. And truthfully, He's way better than us than we can be to Him. Like, we're human, we have our flaws, mistakes, you know, we get tired sometimes, we this and that, you know, we say things we don't mean, but Jesus, He's always the same. So, yeah, that just is how I usually close out.
Okay.
But, all right, y'all, thanks for watching this podcast, thanks for being on the podcast.
I appreciate you inviting me on.
Don't forget to check out Saved and Such, great podcast, great ministry, and you just heard from the CEO. I just like saying that, the CEO of it. All right, y'all. Don't forget to stay 10 toes behind Jesus because you know He's 10 toes behind you. See you guys in the next video.